Morning. Today I'm gonna do a video, just a quick video. I've been out here for, this will be my third day with a skid steer out here working on these roads. And I'm gonna solve, if you have this problem, we spent so much time out here and on our properties in the years past. I'll offer you some tips on how to fix these muddy areas and muddy roads that keep getting wet and staying wet, so hold on. The project's really coming along here. This is the, well, I would say almost the final phase where we're redoing this house. I'm gonna take you for a second and I'm gonna walk you around the house before I do the roads. If you want to skip that, you can skip forward and I'll talk about the roads. But I have got a 550 skid steer here, Bobcat, and this is what I've been riding for. This is what I've been riding for 2 straight days. This will be my 3rd day, and I'm probably going to have to do some more tomorrow. Now I've got this, you can rent these, and I've got it with a flat bucket versus the teeth, which I think is kind of important. So you can get a smooth bucket or you can get a bucket with teeth. And I am using a smooth bucket because I want to be able to shape some of these roads, and you really can't do that when you have the teeth. The teeth are good if you need to sort of dig into something like brush or dig up fresh ground. But anyways, these roads, before I go down to the house, I'm gonna start off by saying you have to understand our soil. We have extremely heavy clay soils here. It's red clay soil. And one of the problems is the infiltration rate. What does that mean? It means that water does not go down through this soil. When it rains, if you have rut marks, you'll have a puddle sitting there, and you'll have a puddle sitting there for 3 or 4 days. And this clay gets really, really soft. And the number 1 rule is that putting gravel down will not solve this problem. You have to actually build up the road or the area that's wet with natural soils and something with a clay base. So we'll give you an example. Any spot that's a high spot will be dry. Any spot that's a low spot, the water's going to pool there and it's going to stay wet, and it's going to stay wet for a long time. So what we're having to do is we're having to reshape not just the road, but a lot of this property. Let me give you, I'm going to walk up here and I'll actually show you some of the stuff. I mean, this is a major restructuring of this area up here. So on this property, we sort of like, we have a level and then we have a hump, a level and then a hump, and those humps are trapping water. This area was almost impassable 3 days ago. There were rut marks that were 24 inches deep up here. And so what I'm having to do, maybe you can see it this way. There was a big hump here. I'm actually having to take this hump and pull that hump out, actually make this so that this terrain, as the water comes down, it doesn't have an area to trap it, so that the water will actually come off. So to fix this problem in here, I've had to take this whole piece of property and flatten that out. That's why it's been so long. But even in here, I mean, some of this is frozen, but this is 4 days later, and when I drive over this, it's still a little bit soft. It's just like regular clay pottery, man. It's horrible. So what do I use for gravel? For gravel, I use number 50. I use 57 gravel. But if you want to build up a road base, you really need to put down crush and run. What is crush and run? Crush or run is, it's a mix of this 57 gravel with a sort of a soil, sandy soil. And that will actually add a building base. So at the back entrance, we couldn't use the back entrance. I had an entire truckload of crusher run dumped up there to build it up about 8 inches, and now the water is going to run off of it. So you may have to actually move dirt into the area, or you can use crusher run as a base to build it up. It's not cheap. Crusher run and gravel, you know, you could probably find it for $500, $600 a load. I always use spreader trucks. I don't use dump trucks. I only bring it in through spreader trucks. All right, so let's talk about the project real quick. It's in its final stages. I'm pretty happy because we're starting to look like an actual house. So this is the fence that we had put in. You can see we've got all new siding, cedar shake up here, all new windows, new doors. The sunroom is complete, new roof, forgotten, metal roof. I'm talking about the road. Same thing here. We've reshaped this to make this all come out. It all slopes down. Same with the backyard. The backyard, we reshaped it. This has just been reshaping property basically the whole time. So this is the new addition. This is the sunroom edition. Hit that subscribe button and I'll do a full walk around with you guys, but I just wanted to sort of give you an update. Now we did, I did a partial encapsulation. I did step one. Step one was we spray foamed on all the exterior walls, including the ridge, including that ridge beam. We sprayed all that and we put plastic down. The next step is going to be to get a dehumidifier down here, an exterior vent, and then to come back with another coat of 20 mil plastic on top of that. I don't know if you can see it, but all those walls, exterior walls, have all been sprayed, and I've got plastic all the way down. So I'm happy with that. That crawl space was nasty. But I don't want to do my final step until I get all of my drains around the area done. Let me just walk around and I'll show you inside what's going on real quick. We flipped the house around basically. This used to be the front of the house. We're treating this as the back of the house, and I'm going to put in a stone patio back here on this big, some old cement block. I need to find a good tile guy. We're going to do some like natural stone or slate on top of there. Oh, it's nice to have the new doors in. The stairs are all going to be redone. These stairs are all going to be rebuilt. We're going to have wrought iron metal on this for railings. But you can see I got sheetrock now. Hallelujah. So there's the laundry room. And then we walk in. This will be the kitchen. And then everything else is pretty much open in here. There's the sunroom. So you can see now I got sheetrocks. All cutouts for all my can lighting. Ceiling fans. So we're moving along. This is the little living room. There's a fireplace back here. These are all the interior doors. This used to be the garage. This is now the master bedroom. Master bath, master closet, little poo room. So starting to look like a house. We're on the final leg here. The sheetrock will be done this week. Exterior painting starts this week. All the siding is done. The metal roof is all done. So we're moving along, and then we kick into gear with all the interior stuff. Let me give you an example of how to solve this problem. So this driveway, or this front area, used to be sort of flat, and there was just all kinds of mud over in here. So what I did is we shaped this to actually have it tilt, and so now all the water as it comes in here actually runs down this way. But let me show you just how bad this can get. When water, you can see how this is sloped, and then the water hits an area where it's going to pool. And this isn't even real heavy red clay. This soil isn't that bad, but you can see what I mean. Those aren't even deep. These aren't even deep rut marks. So if you do need to do any of this road repair or land moving, I'm going to show you a real important feature about this Bobcat, which is pretty standard on most of them. And I call it a zero gravity drop, but really it's just a hydraulic disengage button. So what I do is I take my bucket and I raise my bucket up and I put my blade almost either straight down or at a slight angle. There's a yellow button on that right handle. You push the button and you push forward, and what'll happen is it relieves all of the hydraulics in your arms, and the blade follows the ground. So as you go back, no matter what the ground is like, that blade is going to follow the ground. And it's a real good way to sort of level out areas in here. So you might see me do that. I might raise my blade up, and then all of a sudden it'll drop down, and that blade will go independent of the actual skid steer when I'm back here. So I've got to keep building this up and get that water out of here. So what I want is, I want kind of a, I want to run off on this side, and I want to run off on this side, but I don't want this water to go over here. So I'm dealing with several aspects of this. So my advice is when you're dealing with this water issues, you really got to step back and you got to look at this terrain. That's the key to it. Understand your infiltration rates and how that water is just going to sit here, and then understand this terrain and sort of sit back and look. You may have to take out some big areas if you want to really fix this problem, or build up roads. You got to build up roads, but not just with gravel. Oh. All right, so let me show you this gravity button that I was talking about. So right here is your gravity button. So actually, I'm going to keep the RPMs down so I can. Everyone always forgets to push that green button. It's the only way this thing will work. So as I bring this up, then I'm going to tilt my blade down. So watch what happens when I push this button here. Push that button and jam it forward. All the tension is released, all the hydraulics is released from up here, and that bucket will go up and down. I'll try and show it to you, but with one hand it's kind of hard. So that was my cold Sunday morning fixing roads. I've been doing this is my third day on that skid steer. Oh, my back's starting to get sore. But I want you to understand that if you need to fix muddy roads or muddy areas, gravel's not going to do it. Gravel will just simply, especially if you have clay soils, will just be pushed down inside of this clay. I can't tell you how many times I've had to fix that. So what you need to do is you actually need to do something. You need to get something with some substance to it, whether it's virgin soil that you bring in or whether it's crush and run, and you got to build it up so that water has a place to actually flow off, and that's the only way to fix it. Once you get that fixed, once you get those high areas, then you can go back with gravel. So we've had so much rain. I think we've had 10 inches of rain over the past 2.5 weeks. I haven't even been able to put out my pre-emergent, and I've started to get some poana popping up. So I've got to come back to the house this week coming up, and I got to kill that poana and put out my pre-emergent. Look at that. Look at that putting green. Isn't that crazy? Anyways, guys, just a boring sunny day. Talk to you later. Doc.